Our next project, combating moisture and mold. Generally, wet grounds are the main problem in downtown Vienna. Right here, more precisely at same gas 12, there is an old multi-family tenement house, and in it, our client's apartment. Wet ground is not the only problem. Thermal bridges are another issue caused, of course, by poor external facade insulation and limited ventilation. This is particularly significant in winter with low temperatures and simultaneously high humidity. Such conditions lead to the occurrence of numerous mold outbreaks. This occurs especially in corners because ventilation is usually weakest there. We're talking about air exchange. The photos from the camera, as well as the thermal images you see, are the result of the work of UFI experts. This is an institute that deals with estimating, among other things, construction damages. In Austria, it is customary to invite experts from this institute to conduct a technical audit of the building before carrying out renovation work. Such an audit ends with appropriate documentation highlighting the areas affected by damage and recommendations for the contractor. The damaged locations were marked on the plan. The client provided us with this plan and we started working. However, to verify it from our side as well, we also conducted a study of the internal temperature of the building and simultaneously the humidity at the so-called height H1M, which means at a height of 1 meter above the floor. We checked both of these factors and it turned out that the temperature is just under 19 degrees while the humidity at this height is as much as 60%, which is really too much because, well, up to 50% is the maximum it should be inside this apartment. The first step, of course, that is disinfection with 14% hydrogen peroxide to remove all fungal spores from the walls, as well as to eliminate them from the air. Next, a thermal insulation mortar, Thermo Lime, which penetrates deeply despite its thin consistency. It will penetrate the damaged areas and crystallize the water in them. On it, we applied a layer of typical lime mortar, which is unfriendly to fungi due to its pH. We also used it as a putty, you could say, because we leveled the areas where the plaster was chipped. You deserve one more word of explanation regarding the fact that I mentioned Thermo Lime, that it is a mortar with thermal insulation properties, and it's about the fact that after the water crystallizes in the wall, the temperature will rise enough that the dew point will shift further outside, making it much harder for such a wall to become damp. Finally, to finish, you could say, the areas where we performed repair work were covered with a layer of mineral paint. Why mineral? Because we didn't want to use dispersion paint with organic plasticizers to prevent it from becoming a breeding ground for potential fungi. All these places, as I mentioned, we covered with mineral paint, and at the end we used a final layer of transparent NCT Hydro impregnate. We applied the product by spraying it onto the paint. It does not change its color. It penetrates up to 5 centimeters, protecting against the return of fungi and mold. Since we produce it based on water glass, this surface becomes monolithic. All pores disappear, water does not enter, and fungi do not appear.
If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more construction tips. Thank you for watching and see you in the next project.